When it comes to beloved video games of the 8 and 16-bit era, one of the game series that immediately comes to mind are the Mega Man games. Having spanned several sequels and spin-offs, why then does the second game have such a perfect ending?
That's a good question.
Today I will be going a little further back in gaming history, and we'll be looking into the Mega Man series, most notably the first two games, and look into why the ending of the second game could have been the ending of the entire series. Many of you who clicked on this video are probably already familiar with the creation of Mega Man, but for those who don't know, let's take a brief look. So, grab a spare E-Tank and get comfy because we are going back. The year was 1987, when hair looked like this, and McDonald's looked like this, and I looked something like this. The year when Capcom were looking into making a new game. After not being able to obtain the rights to Astro Boy, Capcom decided on pursuing their own story with a similar boy robot protagonist, Mega Man, or Rockman as he is known in Japan. Created by Akira Kitamura and Keiji Inafune, the Blue Bomber would make his debut in December of 1987 in Japan, and the rest of the world the following year. The story of Mega Man revolves around Dr. Light, having created robot assistants, Rock and Roll, get it, to help him around his lab, doing multiple tasks, while he and his former colleague, Dr. Wily, also created robots to help with various different industries, including demolitions and exploration. After pure jealousy and spite for Dr. Light's creations, Dr. Wily reprograms the industrial robots and turns them against the world. Left with no other choice, Dr. Light reprograms Rock into a super fighting robot, Mega Man, to take on Dr. Wily and fight for everlasting peace. Mega Man is a side-scrolling action platformer that allows you to choose which stage and boss you want to fight, in any order, as well as having a rock, paper, scissors game mechanic, where a weapon that you obtain from defeating one of the bosses could be the weakness of another boss. For example, rock beats scissors. I remember playing Mega Man when I was a kid, but years after it was initially released, but I never beat the games until I revisited them many years after that. With the success of the first game, the second game was released just a year later, respectively in Japan and the rest of the world, introducing us to this awesome intro which still gets me pumped up to this day. Just look how badass he looks on that rooftop with his hair flowing. The second game introduced new enemies to fight, only this time they were created by Dr. Wily from the get-go, and all hell-bent to take you down. Mega Man 2 offered more enemies, new environments, and would also introduce new abilities, like the platform and jet power-ups, precursors to what would become his faithful companion, Rush. I remember loving the waterfalls in Bubble Man stage, and even though this was the second Mega Man game that I had played, I knew then that this series would be something special. I also have to shout out the awesome music that was composed by Manami Matsume and Takashi Tateishi, who fans of the series will agree that the music makes the games as much as the fun gameplay. So, at a surface level, the story of Mega Man is quite simple, but there are a lot of themes that could be looked into deeper, especially relating to Mega Man's destiny and the laws of robotics. Before online wikis, we only had the instruction book or gaming magazines to go by when it came to stories, though some of the English translations took some liberties. Monsteropolis? Okay, sure.
Megaland, that's my home!
Or, if you had that one friend in school who seemed to know everything, whose uncle also happened to work at Nintendo and Sega. In terms of what we see in game and on screen, there is still a lot of storytelling that can be told, and the endings to both the first and second game mark a stark contrast, and almost work as perfect bookends. Mega Man 1 ends very triumphantly, as is emphasized with the music as well. Mega Man makes his way home, running at full speed, excited to be reunited with his family. And I like how it not only takes him several hours to get home, but he takes off his battlesuit as well, no longer needing it, for now. Feeling proud that he has saved the day, the overall tone of this ending is quite positive, and despite the text at the beginning saying that the fight is not quite over yet, it definitely feels like it's over, for now. Then, you have the ending to Mega Man 2, and immediately the tone shifts with the music as well. After you defeat Dr. Wily for a second time, it then cuts to the final cutscene. There's no text this time around. Instead, we just get the music and visuals of Mega Man returning home, only this time at a walking pace, and looking quite somber and yet indifferent all the same. In the first ending, it looks like it took him almost all day to get home, but in the second game, it looks like many seasons pass, almost as if he wasn't intending to go home straight away, contemplating on it all. I love how there is a lack of dialogue or exposition text in this ending as well. It just allows the visuals and the music to tell the story, and I think it works great. Despite the limitations, other games had dialogue in cutscenes, most notably in the Ninja Gaiden games, but omitting them from Mega Man 2's ending I think made it more powerful and more memorable. Without further context, we can imagine what Mega Man is thinking. This being the second time he has stopped Dr. Wily, perhaps he's adjusting to the gravity of the situation, realizing the futility of it all, or maybe he's calculating his future encounters, realizing that without his actions and without his power, the world is at stake of being overrun by a madman if he decides to do nothing.
Mega Man was doing what he was programmed to do. Save lives.
The existentialism with AI is something that is touched upon a little in the Mega Man series, more notably in the X series, where X, being an upgraded version, develops sentience and free will.
X? Is that my name?
That's right. It's a variable. It represents limitless potential. You see, you are a new type of robot who can think for himself. You truly are just like us humans, X. That's why I'm afraid that mankind is not quite ready to accept you. We are not yet mature.
But yet, I can't help but think that there are glimpses of this with Mega Man here. Finally, when he does reach his destination, he puts his helmet aside and returns home, while the music comes to a climactic end. That is until the high-octane main theme comes on again during the credits. I still think this is one of the best endings from the series. Whether it would have been a definitive end, either insinuating that there will be more battles, but the series simply ends, or that the battle is finally over, and Mega Man literally hangs up his helmet, so to speak, and calls it a day. With the first game being a moderate success, the devs weren't so sure if there would be another Mega Man game after the second one, so to me it kinda makes sense that the ending feels like a perfect bookend to the first game, but yet ambiguous at the same time, in case there were sequels, and oh boy were there sequels upon sequels, and spin-offs as well. Mega Man didn't become the face of Capcom over nothing after all. Some of the other games have pretty good endings as well, like the ending to Mega Man 3, where he discovers he has a brother who is the original prototype and now searches for him. The bluesy music is also fantastic during this ending. The soundtrack was composed by Harumi Fujita and Yasukai Fujita. Or in Mega Man 7, where you get a similar contemplative ending, like in Mega Man 2. But in the English translation of the game, Mega Man was straight up going to send Dr. Wily to the Shadow Realm. Damn, that's dark! But then when Dr. Wily is escorted to safety by his new robot assistant, Bass, Mega Man walks out of Dr. Wily's fortress while it explodes and burns in the background, without turning around to watch it go up in flames like a total badass. And his face says it all. With all this in mind, the ending for Mega Man 2 is still one of my favorites. And yes, I know this game is strangely polarizing with the fans for some reason. To many, it is their favorite game in the series. To others, it is overrated, etc, etc. But despite all this, it is a solid game and has become legendary in video game history. The fact that so much emotion can be portrayed in 8-bit over this minute-long cutscene is a testament to the creative ability of its developers, as well as showcasing that limitations do in fact breed creativity. And during a time when video games were all about the gameplay, and the story could be summed up in a paragraph or two in the instruction manual, the storytelling in the Mega Man games are stellar, and I still think these games hold up incredibly well today. And who knows, with the rise of robots and AI technology, maybe we will get a Mega Man after all. Hopefully, someone who fights for everlasting peace. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it. What is your favorite Mega Man game from the series? Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you so wish. I definitely do want to look into more 8 and 16-bit games, though recording footage for Mega Man via the Legacy Edition on Steam did make it easier. I would like to see if I'm able to record from original hardware, or, if I have no other choice, use the forbidden E word. With that said, thank you again for watching, and I will see you all next time.
Dr. Wowie.
It's Dr. Wily!